If it was to be presented in a court of law that a federal agency was stalking, mobbing, harassing, and terrorizing an individual, would that group be considered a terror threat if their activities were being conducted towards thousands of Americans across the country? I believe so. According to Department of Justice, stalking is linked to violence. So to prevent violence, we need to understand what are the intentions of these groups, which are stalking, harassing Americans, and freaking them out to the point where many of them are arming themselves because they're in fear of their safety. Who wouldn't be? And why are police making false reports to conceal these activities state by state? Well, we need to look at partnerships. The FBI and CIA have partnerships with police. They're interagency partners. They get information from DNI, DHS, and other agencies and other databases like the RISS network, HSIN communities. Now, being a target, you do not have any access to gaining your Privacy Act request with many of these agencies because they know that if you get a hold of that information and you can prove they're liars and you can prove they've targeted you, well, then you can prove in a court of law that they're a threat to your safety. So they don't want you to get that information. They have an exemption which states that if they feel that you're going to sue them, they don't have to give you that information. So how do you have access to life, liberty, and justice when they can lie? Now, in a moment, I'm going to share with you guys some clips, and this is all day long. My phone is connected to a Stingray device, and I've been harassed by women, children, members of different groups, CIA contractors. I even have websites where I have their information, their picture, and it says CIA contractor. So why in the world would the federal government allow somebody or a group of people to harass somebody state by state and county by county at stores, where they eat, where they walk, where they park their car? Who are the terror threats? Now, I just turned on Eagle Security, and you can see right here that I'm getting connections. Now, if I click each one of these boxes where you see this red symbol, it'll show a map and it'll show its location. These Stingray devices can also spoof their location. So you may see one and you may notice the numbers are different. Well, they spoof their locations. So sometimes you may notice that these devices are seen at a lake or in the middle of a lake, and then when you get to this location, you see it's not there. But then if you were to go to like 5 of these signals, 1 out of 5 of these signals would be the location. And typically it's at a house, or it'll be like in a white van. Some of these devices can be placed in the back of a vehicle. Um, some of these devices can be used by a law firm or a defense contractor and even cops. So this is all day long. And I just turned this app on like just less than like 5 minutes ago. So within less than 5 minutes, these signals came up. Now, if I was to leave my house, sometimes I'll see like 10, 20 different ones. It'll keep going and going and going. Now, when you see green, that's typically a real signal. So sometimes, though, if you see it's green, then that same one turns red. Sometimes they're able to trick you into believing that your cell phone is connecting to a legitimate tower, but this green one is perhaps legitimate. But when you see that it's red, it's typically always a Stingray device. And what I find interesting is that I'm documenting a lot of ex-military people with disabled veteran tags. that are showing up at different places. I don't know what their deal is, but it's pretty sick what they're doing. Okay, now I wanted to share this. I had some really strange experiences nearby my house, and these people started showing up all of a sudden anytime I was biking back home. I've never seen them again, and weird things started occurring. I would be confronted by kids, and one time they came on a blue golf cart, and they made it clear that they were following me. And one day I spoke to a neighbor, and he told me this group is a neighborhood watch group, and anytime I passed by this area, this guy wearing a blue shirt would come out against the road. So I started looking, and I noticed this pattern. Everyone was wearing a blue shirt. And then when I get to the front entrance of my house, there's a blue vehicle with a U.S. government tag. This is the front entrance of where I live at. So I spoke to a neighbor, and he told me that they were a neighborhood watch group, and they were doing community policing. But this is what's really weird. This is a very rural town. And when I asked why they were doing this, they said they were concerned for their children's safety. So this is what gets me. I'm not a sex offender. I'm not bothering nobody. And when I started trying to take pictures of some of these tags, I noticed the pictures would come out completely white. And that's because these perps sometimes will use photo blocker. And I have this guy's tag more clearer on another video. It was like 3 letters, I believe, was his tag. So just weird things started occurring. It just didn't make any sense. And I ended up contacting the FDLE. I ended up contacting different agencies. So you can see this guy's wearing a blue shirt also. So one day I'm driving by, I talked to this guy, and he told me the reason why they were doing this is because it's a community policing group, and they were pretty much, singling me out. And then when I started running the tags of all these people, guess what? It came up that they're all veterans, every last one. Well, this is the first house you see when you enter in the residential area where I live at. And I don't have any problems with these people. This incident happened 2 years ago. I still live here. So when I go knock on the guy's door, I notice that he has a sticker where his glasses at, where the white door's at, and it says that it's owned by the city. So I did research, and 2 other local politicians live there. And the guy has a disabled veterans tag. I'm assuming it's his brother, because he has a relative that lives there. Hold on one second. So now I live in Florida. I've been here for 5 years. I've been harassed systematically. In Texas, it was every day, multiple times a day. I would be harassed by a variety of community engagement groups and neighborhood watch groups. And this is to let you guys see that I've reached out to different federal agencies. People that are terrorists, that are hiding, don't do stuff like this. I have spoken to politicians. I have gone to media outlets. Did you know that I haven't gotten one response for help? None. Greetings, fellow targeted individual. When I lived in Austin, Texas, I used to drive to this place called Texas.Oncology because I started suffering from a variety of health ailments. Now I'm going to turn to the next page. Bear with me one moment. I have my personal health information covered here. So let me see how I can cover up my most of my health information here. So when I started going to this doctor, I started having really weird encounters. And one time I went to the police there because I go in the bathroom. This guy, he just comes in and says, I'm watching you. I'm watching you. And I have a video about it where you actually hear what this guy is saying. And when I get to my car, there's a note on my vehicle with the eye, a symbol of an eye. And it just says that pretty much the person has been watching me. It really freaked me out. So I went to police, and police told me that they could not use the footage in the bathroom for an investigation because it was illegal to record in the bathroom, even though I was using the bathroom and feared for my safety. Well, later on, I had an encounter with a lady that I noticed works at the local FBI field office with some other people, which are very clandestine, using the Citizens Corps programs and people in the military. And I started getting harassed by neighbors and so on. So I told my doctor, because she was like, why do you think you're having these health issues? I told her I'm chronically stressed. And I had told her that I was selling all my stuff to move to China. And I really was. I sold my vehicle, all my possessions. And relatives encouraged me not to go there. So I didn't go because of their, because they were uptight about it. They didn't want me going that far. So my doctor didn't really write this out very well, as you can see. But she put down here, doesn't even make sense what she put down. I had told her that I had been, that I hired a private investigator because I was experiencing stalking and harassment by neighbors. And I was looking at continuing my medical care over there. So let me remove Zoom from this.